Hey guys, I'm Tom, the Tech Chap, and this is a massive 38-inch curved ultra-wide monitor with support for HDR10, AMD FreeSync, and USB-C. It's the LG 38WK95C, and it's not cheap. It's going to cost you £1,500 or $1,500. So is it actually any good, and should you consider buying it? Now this isn't like most ultra-wide monitors. They're usually 29 or 34 inches in size. This takes things a step further. With a 38-inch display and the 3840 by 1600 resolution means it has the same pixel density. It's just as sharp as a normal 34-inch ultrawide with a 3440 by 1440 res. I have to say though, when I first got this out of the box, I was a bit skeptical that it might just be too big and completely take over my desk. But the good news is that thanks to the relatively low profile thin stand, it means I can actually push it way back to the back of my desk like that. And coming from the Asus PG348Q, I actually have more room on my desk than I did with that, with its super pointy 3-prong design stand. So thanks to this really smart and well-built curved base and fairly thin stand at the back, it's quite close to the monitor itself, I can push it right back. I actually have more room on my desk, and I have this fantastic, ginormous 38-inch curved ultra-wide screen, which, I mean, just look at it. It's amazing. The monitor itself is really well made. You've got, as I say, a sturdy metal curved stand, a glossy plastic white body, and a super thin bezel all around the screen. It's not the most flexible. It's pretty much just height and tilt you can adjust. Well, you can rotate it, but only by 3 degrees for some reason, so that's not particularly useful, but you could always VESA mount it if you prefer. There's just a single button, a joystick, on the bottom for controlling the on-screen display, which gives you access to a range of picture modes and extras like a low blue light reader mode, a black stabilizer to increase the brightness of dark areas in games, and different response time settings. There's a good range of ports as well, with 2 HDMI 2.0s, 1 DisplayPort 1.2, 2 USB 3s, a headphone jack, power connector, and a USB-C OB stream, which makes it easy to use as an external monitor for your laptop. You also get a pair of 10-watt speakers built in, which sounds surprisingly decent actually. But let's talk about that screen. It's a curved IPS panel, so we get great viewing angles and decent color accuracy, covering an impressive 99% of the sRGB, but only 79% of the Adobe RGB color gamuts, which is fine for you and me, but probably not professional color editors. But it still looks really nice, and I've been using it to play games and edit my videos on for a couple of weeks now. I've got no complaints about the picture quality, and I've not seen any noticeable light bleed or IPS glow, so that's good news. Now, a couple of reasons why you may want to buy this is because it supports HDR and also a higher 75Hz refresh rate. But there's a couple of issues with that. First of all, while yes, you can play supported games in high dynamic range, like Far Cry 5 and Battlefield 1, and it does make a noticeable difference to colors and vibrancy, you're not getting proper HDR, since the monitor's peak brightness is just 300 nits, and it's an 8-bit with FRC panel rather than true 10-bit. So it's HDR-ish. It can still look good though. I like playing Battlefield 1 with it on, although I found in Far Cry 5, it just made all the colors look too saturated and gave everything a cartoony look. But it's up to you if you want to use it, and it is a nice option to have. As for the refresh rate, well, I'm running it at 60 Hz, as although it does support up to 75, if, like me, you're using an NVIDIA graphics card, you'll get noticeable frame skipping. So 75 Hz is only really possible if you have an AMD graphics card that can take advantage of FreeSync, which also helps to reduce screen tearing and stabilize frame rate in games. So if you are using an NVIDIA graphics card and you plan to play a bunch of games on this, there are probably better options if you look elsewhere. And also remember that because of the bigger size and also therefore the higher resolution, which actually isn't that far off 4K, it's going to have a big impact on your frame rate in games. Even with a 1080 Ti and an i7 8700K, I was only getting about 70 to 75 FPS in PUBG. So make sure that you do have a powerful enough PC that can comfortably handle this resolution. But the good news for everyone is response time and input lag are relatively low. I didn't notice any ghosting or have any issues playing fast-paced games. I really do like this monitor. The size and resolution makes it ideal for editing my videos, with loads of room for my timeline and assets in Premiere Pro. But given the slightly eye-watering price of 1,500 quid, it would have been nice to see G-Sync, or at least a higher refresh rate for everyone, not just those using an AMD graphics card. So if you want a big, high-res, reasonably color accurate monitor that would look great at home or at the office, and have some pretty deep pockets, I think the LG here is definitely worth considering. And I've put links in the description if you want to check it out. But what do you reckon? Would you buy a 38-inch monitor, or is that just far too big? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more monitor reviews from me, do click that like and subscribe button below. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chap.